good to be here today. I'm with the top 3% of the American people, because in my estimation, 97% of the American population has already fallen victim and succumbed to the campaign that has been waged on us for nearly 100 years. That is equal to 9 million Americans who are searching for a support group. It's a hell of a lot more gratifying to discuss our plight with those who get it than of those who don't, and to make it worse, don't want to. Today I want to talk about the Federal Reserve, and why the end of the Federal Reserve System should be the collective goal of all Americans. Black, white, men, women, rich, the poor, the already born and the yet to be born. We have all been enslaved by the Fed's substitution for its debt-based money for the gold and silver currency previously issued by the U.S. Treasury. I may be preaching to the choir, but for those of you who do not know, the Federal Reserve is neither federal nor has any real reserves. It is a private company backed but not owned by our government. This private company has shareholders just like any other company, and if you think these company shareholders have the American interest in mind, you are terribly mistaken. Their sole interest is power, money, and total domination. If you have not read The Creature from Jekyll Island by Edward G. Griffin, I suggest you do. The Fed was created by bankers, for bankers, just before Christmas in 1913, when most senators were home with their family. Woodrow Wilson signed Fed into law and disobeyed the Constitution by taking the powers of Congress to coin money and handing it over to a very few. Woodrow Wilson would later be quoted as saying, I am most unhappy man. I have unwittingly ruined my country. A great industrial nation controlled by its system of credit. Our system of credit is concentrated. The growth of the nation, therefore, and its activities are in the hands of a few men. We have come to be one of the worst ruled and one of the most completely controlled, dominated governments in the civilized world. No longer a government of free opinion, no longer a government by conviction or the vote of the majority, but a government by the opinion and address of a small group of dominant men. Every dollar bill, or should I say Federal Reserve note, that you and I have held in our hands has been somebody or government's debt. Therefore, if there was no debt, there would be no money. We are simply slaves to debt and to the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve since 1913 has created one depression and is working on its second. The numerous recessions since 1913. But worst of all, without the Federal Reserve, America could not have been able to finance its 2 world wars, the 2 wars that have plagued America for the last 6 years, and the many other wars that America has been involved in or started in the past 100 years. It is a fact that war is extremely profitable to this private company, and the more the war, the larger the profits. Until the Federal Reserve is abolished, Americans can expect more war. Thank you.